Aniríem a l'última experiència del dia, que és l'experiència del Rijksmuseum, que tal com estàvem parlant de les dades obertes, és un clar exemple de treballar amb dades obertes. Ens la presenta la Lizzy Jongma. Li diré en anglès, que no digui alguna cosa que no sigui correcta, a veure si ella m'ho rectifiqui. She's data manager in the Collections Information Department of the Rijksmuseum. She works on digitalization of collection information and online sharing on the Rijksmuseum website. She works on collaborative projects with university, museums, and portal sites like Europeana and Wikimedia Commons. She has studied history at the University of Nijmegen, and she has worked as a developer, advisor, and project leader in this field since 1996. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay.
La ponència serà en anglès. Si hi ha alguna cosa, després li podrem intentar fer preguntes a veure si ens en sortim entre tots per traduir.
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, sorry that I don't speak Spanish. I do hope my English is good enough and you will understand my talk. Welcome and thank you. I still need to work technique here. I would like to start with a small lesson in history, the history of my museum. This is April 13th, 2013. The reopening, the grand reopening of the Rijksmuseum Amsterdam. I don't know if you know the story of the Rijksmuseum. It's the National Museum of Art and History of the Netherlands. And it is housed in one of the most beautiful buildings of Amsterdam. But unfortunately, it was also one of the most run-down buildings in Amsterdam. So by 2003, the building was so run down that asbestos came dripping down the walls. And the building was closed immediately. And they planned renovations for 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, and it turned out to be 10 years. So we were closed. And what does a museum do when it's closed? Okay, I'm still working on the mouse here. You have time to think about who you are and why your museum exists. And actually, by that time, everyone else is forgetting about you. So we needed to find a way to express ourselves, to show our collections, to be alive and to stay alive. Because when you're closed for 10 years, people really forget about you and your collections. And we don't have a small collection. We house over 1 million objects, 700,000 works of art in print. We have 1,600 Rembrandts, amongst which the Night Watch, the Jewish Bride. We have 4 Vermeers, but people forgot about them. So in the 10 years that we were closed, we started digitization and we started developing strategies for a digital museum. Because between 2003 and 2013, the entire world outside changed. It became a completely different world, from an analog world into a digital world. By now, if I'm looking for a plumber, I will not look in the phone book. I will Google a plumber. And a plumber without a website is a plumber that I will never find. And the same goes for museums. We needed to find a place where we can express ourselves, where we can show what we are and what art we have, and also a place where our audiences are. So, for us, in the 10 years that we were closed, we started working on digitization of our entire collection, because we realized that even though our building is the most beautiful one on earth, some of you may never be able to come to Amsterdam and visit us. And some of our objects, 99.9% of our collection, will never be in our museum. We only show 8,000 objects out of a 1 million objects collection. So where do you go then? And again, the mouse is not helping me. Is there any other way? I always show this picture because when you start thinking of digitization, you should really realize that everyone else has thought of it already. We did not digitize all these versions of this Vermeer. Everyone else on this planet did. So by the time that we started digitizing our collection, well, everyone else had done it already. And usually people do it in a very poor, bad way. Most of these images are scanned from old school books, awful slides, and then photoshopped in any way you like it. And as an historian, I would like to ask you, which one of these beautiful ladies is the real Vermeer? And everyone always guesses the wrong woman. Women in the 17th century used arsenic to bleach themselves. So every girl with red cheeks, she's photoshopped. And if you scan from a book, then the yellow from the lady's jacket will end up in the background. She's standing in front of a white wall, not a yellow wall. I actually did a test like this with a couple of civil servants in the Netherlands, showing them 2 different pictures of vases with flowers, just similar to this one. One of them was orange and brown, and that is because slides from the 70s and 80s turn orange and brown. And I showed them this picture, and I asked them which one is from the 17th century. And they all guessed the brown and orange one, because it looked old. And that is what we as a museum try to fight. Things, you know, they don't look old because they're yellow and brown. Even though they're old, they should look like this. They're a celebration of art. We take care of it, we renovate it, we restore it, we dust it every morning. And this is what the artist created in 1621. And please let us show the original image in the museum and online. So we digitize our collection in the highest resolution possible, so everyone can enjoy everything we've got. In this beautiful painting, there are spiders and cobwebs and ants walking on flowers. When you come to a museum, you hope for an experience where you can see all these little cracks and details, and why not use the internet as a celebration for the artist and show all the little details online? So by 2012, we launched our new We launched our new website where we put all the high-resolution images online in the highest resolution. And everyone can zoom in and skew and pinch and do whatever you can do on your iPad with our collection, just to show you how beautiful our art is. And it really is a celebration of our entire collection. We put every image online when copyright laws aren't preventing us from doing so. And this means that the public, but also we as staff, we find hidden treasures in our collection. I accidentally found this little Red Riding Hood. It's a stereoscopic photo from the end of the mid-19th century, and it was hand-painted. And I've never seen the original one, but I love this digital one. And it seems that everyone likes our collection, because online we have this very small I like this button, and you can press it and then you like it. It's a very simple technique. But if I look online, if I search for prints or photographs that have no likes yet, I cannot find them anymore. So our website attracts approximately 3 million people a month, and they like a lot of our works of art, so there are no images without likes online anymore. And as a sidekick to our new website, we also created something called the Rijksstudio. It's very much Pinterest-based. It's inspired by Pinterest, where people can collect what they like and create small boards where they can put images together in any way they like. So we just created it because we like Pinterest. And it seems that everyone in the audience is a small museum person. People like collecting things and combining things and grouping things. So we never expected big results, but I think we have up to 170,000 Rijksstudio collections now, and some people go overboard. This lady here, Yvonne Klomp, I think she has 1,000 sets. She loves everything, and she finds the weirdest stuff like bubbles and balloons, and she's currently looking for Christmas decoration in our collection. So she really helps us to show what people like about our collection or what special things we have that we never knew we had. People like sorting by color and by form and by shape. And so we're really now getting in touch with our audiences. And another thing we never realized is that our collection inspires people to create new stuff. Our website never was interactive, so we just put on the images and, you know, that was it. And then people started emailing us saying, oh, I was so inspired, I created a piece of jewelry. Or in this case, this lady, she created a dress, had the milkmaid printed on a dress and then, or on fabric and then create a dress. And you can't read it, it's in Dutch, but she says, thank you Rijksmuseum for making this happen. I really think you're cool. Yay. And I think this is what a museum should be. It should be an inspiration for anyone to create something new. I always tell the story that Vincent van Gogh lived in Amsterdam for a very short while. He was an art student, and he went to the Rijksmuseum, and he saw Rembrandt, and he was blown away by Rembrandt. I don't know if you know the late Rembrandt. In the Golden Age, everyone tried to paint as fine as possible, as live real as possible. And then Rembrandt started doing something different. He started claying like Picasso does. So he creates these 3D works of art. If you look at the Jewish Bride, you can really see the layers of paint that he used. He was hated for it in his own time. But Vincent van Gogh was blown away by it. And he sat there for hours watching Rembrandt. That was actually the only thing he liked in the Rijksmuseum. But it inspired him to create his own art. And now he has his own museum next to my museum. So here you go, be inspired. Okay, no, wrong. And we don't just inspire the public. We also inspire designers, commercial people. And that's actually the thing we had the biggest debates about internally, and I still have a lot of debates with my colleagues externally. We share everything, public domain, CC0, with everyone, whether it's a private person or a commercial party. For instance, Etsy, which is sort of it is commercial, but it's, you know, creative housewives and very well-known designers. We share our collection with them and ask them to create new things based on our collection. For instance, this beautiful silk kimono. We ask everyone to use our collection. And this is not me photoshopping. It is, but this is, you can really buy these things. And is that a bad thing? People always say, you're missing out on a lot of money from your collection. Would we ever make dresses as a museum? Are we into the milk selling business? And we do sell the Playmobil in our gift shop. It's our biggest hit this Christmas. So please hurry if you want a set, because it's sold out all the time. You have to wait for it. I don't think we lose out on money. Some of it is sold in our museum shop, and some of it is sold without us knowing it, but we would have never made money out of it because we're not doing these kinds of things. And these kinds of things are promoting our collection. This milk carton, it's on everyone's table in the morning, and it is promoting art. So what is the family going to do today? let's go to the Rijksmuseum. Yeah. And that's not everything we're doing. I will speed up now. We're open. We're freely sharing everything. That's why in 2012 we created our own API, which is like a power plug to our collection. So people can download one image at a time for free, but they can also come to our website and download the entire collection, the metadata set or the metadata set with links to the images, and use it any way they like. It's all CC0 public domain. We started with 111,000 objects, but the collection now is over 180,000 objects, and it's, besides Europeana, the largest open data art collection in the world, and you can use it for anything. People build apps with it, like the ones on top here. They're nice and they're fun. I don't think the apps that are being built in hackathons and so on are, you know, the new way of museums to go digitally, but it's fun to have a hackathon for a weekend and see what other people do with your collections. For instance, the top one with the faces is someone using Facebook software to cut out heads out of all of the paintings in the Rijksmuseum. And it's a really weird Facebook kind of thing where you suddenly see each individual in your collection, although they can be part of a very large painting. These apps aren't very successful, so don't be afraid of a hackathon. No one is building an app and selling it for 90 cents and ruin you out of business. It's fun, and it's a new way to look at your collection, but it's not going to replace anything you do as a museum. But we never expected the side product that is now our most successful thing, and that is Wikipedia and Europeana, an art store. An API allows us to digitally talk to all these other big portal sites and big audiences that we would never reach on our own. So they came to us and said, can we harvest your collection? And we said, yeah, sure. And that was all the work we put into it. And then other people started working for us. So for instance, Wikimedia Commons started harvesting our paintings. So they have our entire painting collection on Wikimedia Commons. And this is what blows me away. This is a painting, you probably all know it. I didn't know it. It's the Fortress of Batavia, and it's somewhere in the museum, probably in storage, I don't know. But this is our biggest hit on the English Wikipedia. And why is that? Because the painting seems to tell a lot of different stories. If you look at the wikis that are using this image, it ranges from the city of Batavia to my personal favorite, the Red Seal ships. It seems to be some type of Japanese ship, and there's a boatsman in front of the painting, and there's this entire wiki lemma about these boatsmen, and they use this painting to cut out this person and show what a Red Seal ship boatsman looks like. And that is something we as a museum would never do. We write about this painting and we write about this painter, and our metadata is rich, but not that rich that you would really know a lot about it if you read it online. But these people on Wikipedia really write huge articles about these very specific details on works of art of us. So thank you, Wikipedia. And it's not just that. Wikipedia it's a huge crowd out there. I mean, we get 3 million visitors to our website every month. Wikipedia, this is our statistics for our images. They attract 13 million visitors to our collection every month. Actually, Spain is our second best audience on Wikipedia. So I couldn't help myself and see what is the most important subject you will like us for. That is the Iglesia Católica. For me, that is weird. I come from a Protestant country, so... But I found out we do have one work of art that is very popular in Spain, as it seems, and that is this one. This is with 500,000 page views a month on Wikipedia. This is our most popular work of art in Spain. This is even deeper stored away in our collection. This is definitely not on display, but maybe we should get it out and hang it in the galleries. And this, I also want to show you, because this is the same image that we shared with Wikipedia, but now it's on Europeana. And the cool thing with Europeana is the fact that they translate things for us. We're a Dutch museum. Before our museum was closed, we attracted up to 800,000 visitors a year. Most of them came from the Netherlands, maybe 20% came from abroad, but that could also be Belgium. For us, that's abroad too, although they speak the same language. So we did have some, English translations in the galleries on the label text, but we never thought of English texts in our collection management system or wherever. But suddenly, now that we reopened, we have 3 to 4 million visitors a year, and half of them come from abroad. Half of our foreign visitors come from America. So suddenly, translations are of huge importance, and also online. Our biggest audience online is from other countries. Most of them don't speak Dutch. So there we were with our beautiful collection and our beautiful collection information all in Dutch. And suddenly we're working our butts off to get it online in English. Fortunately, we always used very structured metadata systems like the American AAT, the Arts and Architecture Thesaurus. We use icon class, we use geo-names. We use all kinds of structured metadata that is now available as linked open data. And Europeana actually translates all of our metadata to other languages. I can show you some of the things they're doing. I hate them for their interface. This is the most awful interface ever, but I got elected Europeana counselor yesterday, so this is something I can now work on. But as you can see, they use automatic referencing and linked open data to translate something that we put in the database in Dutch, and they translate it to any language thinkable on this planet. And by using geo-names, they can also geo-reference our collection, so we don't have to look up all the longitudes and latitudes. It's all done automatically. And now my last slide, because this is a project we recently started. Although a lot of things are now done automatically at the Rijksmuseum, we're trying to get people involved in our collection, but not just ask them to put in any metadata. We're trying to get specialists in. So we know this is a print and we know who printed it, but we don't know what bird this is, for instance. Or we can see that these are Japanese characters, and they're not even Japanese, they're Chinese characters. But what does it say? So what we're currently working on with universities is to develop a system for what we call niche sourcing, and that is get domain experts involved in our collection and not just annotate that this is a print from the 19th century, but annotate that this is this specific bird and this is this specific text in Chinese. And we hope also to create a system where by using statistics, it will automatically check if the input is correct or not. So hopefully in the upcoming years, we can show you what results we get from all the specialists that are out there. And that is what we're doing.
Thank you, Lizzy. It's incredible initiative.
Yeah.
Bueno, és impressionant tenir tota aquesta col·lecció a l'abast, poder-la fer servir com vulguem, reutilitzar-la. Teniu alguna pregunta per fer-li a la Lizzy? I would like to ask you, do you have to fight against any contrary attitude towards putting all .public domain on open?
Yeah, it was a long, long road to get there. So what we actually did was we wanted to open up the collection, and especially the people in the commercial departments and the people in the image department were totally against it because they really feared for their jobs and for our incomes. So what we first did was we created the API, and we said we're not going to share the images, we're sharing URLs to the images on our website. We already had images on our website, so that was what we were already sharing. So we said we're not going to give away anything that isn't online already. So that sort of calmed them down. But then, and we said it's only 110,000 objects and we have 1 million, so it's just a small part of the collection. But then an American blogger, he wrote, "Oh, the Rijksmuseum is giving away all their images for free. Come and get them." And then everyone started calling my image department, so they were totally upset by it. But suddenly, they got these huge amounts of requests, because you could order an image at the Rijksmuseum for 40 euros, so that's not a lot of money, but they got like 2 or 3 requests a month. You know, it's little business, little money, a lot of work to get the money into the museum, especially if someone came from America, for instance, so we didn't have a digital system to get the money. So in fact, it was costing us more than it was. Yeah, it was a lot of hard work. And now suddenly, we were very popular. A lot of people were asking for a lot of images, and it was a lot of work. And some people were actually willing to pay for it. So they said, "Oh, I don't mind." Even private persons, they didn't mind paying 40 euros for images. But then it was so difficult to get the money from them, you know, especially from other countries when you don't have a digital system. So gradually everyone calmed down, and, you know, we started calculating and figure, you know, we're not really making money out of selling images because it's a very costly project. We're going to try a different thing. And what we now try to do is sell digitization projects. So we try and get funding for digitization projects. And then we say, for instance, with our historical archives, we got 300,000 euros to digitize our historical archives. And then the person funding it would get the guarantee that we would share all of our images online for free with everyone. And that is for both parties very beneficiary, because we used to use the money from the images for digitization projects, and now we sell the project itself. And it's easier to get 300,000 euros than 40 euros a time. Yeah, so we're trying to shift business model from selling one image business to, you know, selling a project and then giving the images the result of the project away, and that is...
then give it back to the society.
Exactly, because it's also very fundamentally, it's part of our job as a museum to share whatever we have in collection. We ask taxpayers to pay for storage, to pay for hanging it at our walls. So they're paying for us, and then, you know, reselling images, it's not a very... It's a bit difficult if you're an icon museum.
And what about losing visitors, physical visitors?
I end with this picture because that is... I don't think we lost visitors. I think we gained so much visitors that this is your average day at the Milkmaid. Before we closed, but it's difficult to compare because we were closed, but before we were closed, as I said, we had mainly Dutch visitors. Last year was 800,000, and now same collection, more than half of our visitors come from like America, and you know, it's 3 to 4 million visitors. So the promotional value of our collection online and in any form that you can imagine is so big, and it generates so much more visitors than it used to, that from a visitor's perspective, put it all online.
Any question? Then the last one, what is the big surprise in reusing creation you have made?
The biggest surprise?
We have seen dresses.
Dresses. I've seen, you know, the Chupa Chups lollies?
Chupa Chups?
They redid the Night Watch with Chupa Chup. I don't know why. No, people are doing all kinds of things. We had this award, and the winner created makeup, eye makeup based on one painting. So she took all the colors from one painting and she created eye makeup in the same colors. So you match paintings. It's excellent.
And do you encourage artists to share the creation with you?
Yeah. We actually had to build an upload tool, so we had to build more things because, like the lady with the dress, they started sending us emails telling us that they had created something. Would we like to see the pictures? And yes, of course, we'd like to see them. And then we figured we need to share them. So now in Rijksstudio, people can upload images of whatever they created. And it's everything from school kids doing nice things to ladies recreating entire works of art. So it's excellent. Yeah.
Thank you very
You're
much,
welcome.
Lizzy. It's una gran experiència.